So you will have to learn to how to attempt such questions. You will have to take a pause of 10 seconds. First, you will have to make a brief heading of the answer. Hello students, so now we are going to make a perfect strategy to prepare for board examination for social studies. So students, before actually going to a perfect planning, it is very most important for us to know the division of the paper. Students, that's what we already know, that social studies comprises of 4 different subjects. Those are history, civics, geography and economics. And that's what we already know, that the paper will be getting of 80 marks. So students, the division of the paper will be in a way that will be given equal weightage to every subject. Means 80 marks paper will get divided into equal parts. Those are of 20, 20, 20 and 20. 20 marks for history, 20 marks for geography, 20 marks for civics and 20 marks for economics. So students, that's what we have, the actual division of the paper. Now students, we are going to look upon the general instructions will be given while they are in the examination hall, and these general instructions would be there on the very first page of the paper. Students, it is very most important for us to be aware of the actual pattern of the paper. And this is what the pattern of the paper, that the paper will get divided into 6 different sections. Those 6 different sections are A, B, C, D, E and F. And the total number of questions we'll be getting for social science are 37. And here all questions are compulsory to attempt. So students, let's start from section A. Students, in section A, you'll be getting 20 questions and every question here is of 1 mark each. Students, in section A, you'll be getting 20 questions and every questions will be of MCQ based approach. Means all questions here are of multiple choice based and you will have to go for 1 choices among all 4. Now we have section B. Students, in section B, you'll be getting questions starting from question number 21 to 24. Here every question will be of very short answer type based approach. Students, here every question will comprise of 2 mark each. And here the word limit to attempt the question are 40 words only. Next to it we have section C. Students, in section C, we have questions starting from question number 25 to question number 29 and every question here is based upon short answer type questions. It means that you will have to attempt the questions while writing short answers. Here every question is of 3 mark and the word limit for this question is 60 words. Next students, section D. In section D, you will be getting questions starting from question number 30 to question number 33 and every question here are of long answer type approach. It means you will have to write long answers for every question. Here every question will comprise of 5 mark each. And the word limit for writing such questions are 120 to 140 words. So students, that's what we are all about, section D. Next, the upcoming section is section E and it is the most important section among all because in this section we'll be getting case-based study questions. Students, here you'll be getting questions starting from question number 34 to question number 36. So ultimately in section E, you'll be getting total number of questions in 3. So students, in section E, you'll be getting total 3 questions. But yes, here every question will have subdivision of it. Ultimately, we can say that here every question will have some sub questions given into it. For example, if we are actually writing for question number 34, question number 34 will have 3 questions into it, 34.1, 34.2 and 34.3. Right student? Similar to it, we will be having for question number 35 and the similar thing will be having from question number 36. So students, question number 34.1, 34.2 and 34.3. Ultimately, in case-based study questions, we'll be getting 3 questions. The very first sub-question will be of 1 mark. The second question will be of 1 mark. And the third question in a single case-based study question will be of 2 mark. Combining all 3 sub-questions, question number 34 will be of 4 marks. Right students? So that's what we'll be having for section E. So section E will be having 3 questions but every question would have further division to it. Next to it we have section F. Students, in section F will be having only one question, that is 37. But question 37 will have 5 sub questions into it, and the questions will be based upon map approach. Here you will have to write maps. So ultimately you will be getting 2 different sections of map, 37A, right students, and 37B. In 37A, in this particular question, you will have to write 2 locations. You will have to mark 2 locations for history. Right students, in this 37B, you will have to write 3 locations for geography. So that's what we have, the total and the exact pattern of the paper. The paper will have 6 divisions, 6 sections, and here we have all the 6 sections already discussed. Students, it is very most important for us to know one important thing, and that is that in this particular paper we'll be having a very different type of question to be asked, and this particular type of questions have never been asked earlier. And what is this actually? So students, yes, you will have to look upon one thing, that is this 10th point. You'll be getting the same in your question paper as well. That is all about a note. Students, here we have a note that CBQ stands for competency based questions, and 50% of the weightage of the total paper will be given to competency based questions. Ultimately, in this particular paper, total 50% of the question or the 50% of the weightage is given to competency based question. It means they'll ask for your competent approach. So you will have to learn to how to attempt such questions, right students? So this is what we have, the actual pattern of the paper. Now we are going to discuss that while actually preparing for this paper, for the upcoming examination, what are the important practices we'll have to inculcate in our daily routine. So students, here we have some points which will have to ensure that yes, while we are actually preparing for the exam, we'll have to go for these. So students, here we have do's and don'ts, that what we'll have to do and what will not have to do actually. So students, first we'll be starting from do's, and the very first point, students, is all about reading books. Students, just now we discussed that 50% of the total weightage of your examination is given to competency based questions. Students, I am very much sure that the students who are not reading the book, they'll not be able to attempt such questions very quickly, very easily, and very perfectly. For that reason, it is very most important for you guys to read your books at least twice a time, and especially for subjects like history. Students, that's what we already know, that in history we have a lot comprehensive chapters. The chapters like rise of nationalism in Europe, the chapters like nationalism in India, and many other chapters, print culture. These are the chapters which are actually asking for reading to it. Right students? So that's the reason I'm saying that you will have to make the reading of these chapters at least twice so as to attempt such competency based questions quickly and perfectly. So students, that's what you will have to start from now onwards so as to have a good and perfect preparation for the examination. Second, while actually reading the book, we'll be getting some important topics into it. So it is very most important for us to make the notes of such important topics. Students, this making of note is very most important. Why? Because when we are at the last time before the examination, we don't have things to revise actually, because we cannot go for the actual book, because in actual book we have a lot different things already given, and we cannot waste our time into these in just folding out the papers. So at that time, such important notes are very much helpful for us, because these are the important things, and that these particular notes have been made by us only. So we'll be having a very quick way to revise such notes. As students, this can be possible that many of you won't be getting enough time to make the notes. So for that thing, what you can do, you can just simply take the highlighter, and while reading the book, you can highlight the most important points of a particular chapter. So while at the last time, you can even revise that highlighted points. So students, it is very most important to make the important notes of the important topics, and if you will not be having the time, you can further highlight the things, right? Highlighting is also important. Next, students, many a times a lot different assignments have already been given to you. In assignments, you have objective as well as subjective questions. So what you can do, you can simply take out the printout of those assignments and you can make a separate file of those. Students, it is very most important for us to do this particular practice just for the last time before the examination, because students, at that time we cannot go with books, we cannot go with notebooks, we cannot go with anything else, we cannot go with copy and nothing else. At that time we must be ensuring that we have a very good bulk of important notes so that we'll be able to revise it quickly. So students, what you can do, you can simply make a separate file of your assignments so that while at the last time before the examination you can revise things quickly. And students, it is you will have to believe that all such notes, all such assignments are actually the questions, are actually the important questions which you will have to look upon. Next students, it is very most important to practice map by tracing important locations, because students, that's what we just discussed, that the map will come of 5 mark and the map will come in 2 sections. The section A will be of history, section B will be of geography. So you will have to go with both the subjects, history and geography. Next, it is very most important to create a timeline of important dates. Students, although you won't be getting a question more than 2 of important dates, no, in objective questions. So, but after that also it is very most important to know the exact dates. For example, when Greek War of Independence happened, when German unification happened, and many other dates are very most important, no. So these are actually the practices which you will have to inculcate. And a very most important, that it is very most important for us to go with previous year questions, because students, that going with previous year questions will give us an idea that what type of question can come in the examination and which questions and which topics are very most important to read for it, right? So that for that particular thing, it is very most important for us to go with previous year questions also, to judge the importances and type of question asked in board examination. Now, here we have the practices which we should not refer. These are the don'ts. So students, the very first thing, that we should not be very fast in attempting any answer. Many a time, that's what I see, that the students are actually looking at the question and start writing down the answers. No students, that's what you will not have to do. What you will have to do, that after actually reading the question, you will have to take a pause of 10 seconds. Students, 10 seconds are not very much large period of time. You will have to take a pause of 10 seconds. You will have to think for what to write in this particular question. Students, that will give you a one step ahead confidence that yes, that's what I'm going to write in this particular question. This 10-second break is not very large, but will give you a very large benefit, right students? So don't be very fast, because if you'll be doing such practices, you'll not be very good towards writing your answers. So just take 10-second break just in order to think that what different points I'm going to write in that. As students, it is very most recommended to you that always write your answers in point, because the evaluator will not be having any interest to check your copy if you'll be writing your answers in paragraph. So it is very most recommended for you to write your answers in point. Next, no one will have to put extra knowledge in answers. I saw a copy and the copy was actually having good answer writing, a good answer written, but his answers was considered as incorrect. Why? Because the students have already given many other things which are also not discussed in NCERT. I'll give you an example, that we usually study about Satyagraha, no? And in Satyagraha, what we are actually studying, that these are the local Satyagrahas have been practiced by Mahatma Gandhi in Champaran, in Kheda, in Ahmedabad and many other places. What is the meaning of Satyagraha? But we are never discussing that the Champaran, this Satyagraha as the practice got actually started from South Africa. We are not discussing this. If you'll be writing such particular things in your answer copy while they're in the examination hall, while writing the examination, you'll be having your marks deducted. Don't put extra knowledge in your answers. It is very most important to be strict towards NCERT books. Next to it, students, don't learn things which are not discussed in NCERT. That's what we just discussed. That will not have to go with anything other than NCERT. And students, here we have something very most important, that never go out of limit. Students, that's not only for your examination, that's what actually a practice which you will have to do in every sphere of your lives. Will not have to go out of limit, will have to be in limit. So students, here limit refers to the word limit, that for every question we have a word limit already set. For 2 mark question we have a word limit of 40 words. For 3 mark question, short question, we have a word limit of 60 words. For 5 mark question, for long answer questions, we have a word limit of 120 to 140 words. So students will not have to cross these word limits. It is very most important for us to be within word limits. As students, it is recommended to you to not to count the words. Instead of that, you will have to make a practice that how to count the lines. And in one particular line, I'm actually writing 8 words, so I'll have to just count the lines accordingly. So students, these are the word limits, and I'm again telling you that write your answers in point and don't go beyond word limits. Word limits are very most important. Next students, here we are going to discuss that how to attempt the question. Students, I already told you that we'll have to write our answers in point. But now here we are actually going to discuss that how to attempt the question. So here we are going to discuss a question, and the question is there from the chapter Federalism. And the question is, described through what routes federation have been formed. Students, we already know that there are 2 routes. One is coming together federation and second is holding together federation. So students, how generally the students are actually starting the answers. For example, answer. First, when independent states are coming together to form a big union, that is called as coming together. Students, you will not have to write these answers in this particular way. Instead of that, what you'll have to do means you should not be very direct with the answer writing. Instead of that, what you'll have to do, that first you will have to make a brief heading of the answer. Like here we have the heading of the answer, that based on the historical context in which the federation was formed, there are 2 kind of routes through which the federation have been formed or practiced. Right, students? Or practiced. The very first route. So here first route I already highlighted. Students, you will not have to use different color pens. Instead of that, you can simply use black pen to highlight it. Not to highlight, actually to underline it. So students, the very first route, independent states coming together on their own to form a bigger unit, and that's what we have as coming together federation. So students, that coming together federation also to be underlined. So here you are actually making a headline. With that, you are actually signifying that this is the first route and this is the second route. Students, these particular type of practice you will have to use in order to make your answers more effective and presentable. Students, it is not only putting your knowledge. It is actually a game of playing with the mind of the evaluator. He'll be impressed if you'll be writing your answers very effective, very presentable, and will give you good marks. Now students, here we have something again very most important, that says that at the last time and very less time, how can we get more marks? So students, here we have some important chapters which you will have to read at least twice before one day of the examination. On the last day, just before a day in the examination, you will have to make a reading of such chapters. Students, these chapters are most important and will cover maximum marks in the examination. And these chapters are Nationalism in India and the Rise of Nationalism in Europe. These are the 2 chapters from history. Second, Federation and Political Parties. These are the 2 chapters from civics. Then Resources and Development, Agriculture and Manufacturing Industries are the 3 chapters from geography. Next, we have Sectors of Indian Economy and Globalization and the Indian Economy from economics. There is 1 chapter more you can add, that is Print Culture in the Modern World. Students, these are the most marks covering chapters. So these chapters are the most important chapters which you will have to revise before the examination. And it is very most important to revise such before the examination, students. So these are the most important chapters of your syllabus. Now students, we are actually going to discuss an important thing, that how to write the map. Students, what we are actually getting, that you will, the question number 37A, 37B, right student, right? and 37B will have 3 section 1 to 3. So how you will have to attempt the answer? For example, in 37A, you have a question that where indigo plantation happened. So we already know that indigo plantation actually happened in Champaran, which is there in Bihar. So students, here you will have to mark a location. Right. Here you will have to write 37A. You are not supposed to write Champaran here. Then making an arrow, you will have to write Champaran here. We should not mix other locations. For example, there is one more important thing that whereas Chauri Chora incident happened. So we'll have to write Chauri Chora here, like making this 37B Chauri Chora. So students, here what we are actually doing, we have made a 2 separate division of the things. If I'm going to write both the things here and here, like Champaran here and Chauri Chora here, both the things will intermix and you'll be getting your answers as incorrect. If the evaluator will have a confusion over it. So that's the reason I'm actually suggesting you that you will have to make an arrow from the location by marking. You will not have to forget marking this. It is also very most important. You will not have to forget marking this. It is also very most important. So in this particular way, you will have to attempt the map. In this particular way, you will have to mark the map. Next students, what the strategy we can practice just before a day of examination. I already told you that you will have to make a separate notes. With that, you will have to make a separate file of the assignments. So you will have to see the revision notes as well as the assignments properly. Now students, just one day before the examination, at least one day before the examination, you will have to fix the same clock. For example, if I have my examination from 10 to 1 in the morning or in afternoon, just one day before the examination, I'll be fixing the same clock. I'll be sitting in the table with taking water bottle and I'll start doing a sample paper over it. So that I'll be having a practice of doing things while they're before going to the examination hall. So students, that practice will help you and you'll not be hesitant. That's what you'll not have to do for social science only. That's what you will have to attempt, you'll have to do for every subject. Right students, so you will have to solve at least one sample question paper by fixing the same clock. Ahead of this, we don't have something very most important. You will have to take good sleep, you will have to take light diet and nothing else students. I know that you all have studied everything, you all have taken revision classes and many other things you already did. So that's the reason I am pretty much sure that you will be doing good in the examination. So nothing to be worried for. Just important revision. Just revision is very most important. That's what I'm suggesting you. So students, with this, I'm actually wishing you all the very best. Do your best, all the very best, and best of luck here for examination because luck is also important students. All the best.